Collating in here. Speaker Renner, you don't need a scientist to tell you your house is on fire. Right now, many Floridians can see with their own eyes that our lakes and waterways are struggling. There are growing concerns that the aquatic spraying may be causing unintended harm to public health, drinking water, fish, and wildlife. Would you support a pause on these treatments to investigate their impacts and consider moving into a different direction, maybe toward a safer, non-chemical alternative that better protects water quality and wildlife?
I'm coming over because that's an easy yes. Of course, I think I'll give you an analogy, or an analog, rather, a historical analog, when we came in and developed before we were here, the Kissimmee River. It meanders and it cleans the water as it comes down to Lake Okeechobee. Well, what did we do when we got here? It's easier for us to make a straight line all the way through, so that water never got clean. And it's the same process as, yes, is it cheaper to dump a bunch of chemicals to kill whatever? Of course it is. Well, what's the outcome of that? What's the long-term outcome of that? Does it ever get out of the water system? You have to ask yourself these questions, and this is true throughout human history, where we've just, whether it's survival or whether it's just, pure profit or just expediency, people have done things that help in one area, kill the planet. Mission accomplished, but you've now created problems that may drive carcinogens into our water supply, into our food supply, these kinds of things. And so we do have to be careful. And I'm not going to run off half-cocked. I want to see the science. I want to know, is it a safe treatment or not? I'm sure you're going to tell me it's not a safe treatment, and it may not be. And so the answer is then no. If it's going to fix a short-term problem that creates many, many long-term problems, that's not a good solution. It may be the cheapest, but it's not a good solution. And so in government, look, I was in the military, I can't tell you how many things that we do that are just, and then we overpay for things as well. So, but yes, we will take a pause as needed on whatever it is that we think is threatening our health. And as I said, at my heart, I don't know if I'm a Teddy Roosevelt Republican or whatever you want to call it, I love the environment. I read Ranger Rick growing up, and I'm not a Sierra Club guy now, but I guess I was back then. I know it was the Sierra Club, but I love the environment. I believe God put us on this earth, that we owe it to the people that come after to make sure that it's just as good 20, 30 years from now as it is now. And I love the parable, I think it's a Jewish parable, of the guy, this old man, planting a fruit tree, and somebody that representing the Senate comes up to him and says, "Why are you doing this? This is not, you're never going to eat a piece of fruit from this tree. Why are you doing this?" Because the generations ahead before me did it for me. That's the attitude we need from our leaders.